Here we have Michael Knowles on the Daily Wire talking about how he can't be calling for a genocide against trans people because trans people don't exist. He also claims that you can't commit a genocide against them because it's all about genes when you're committing a genocide, when that is not the case. You can commit a genocide against a number of groups of people um, based on certain things, and it's not always about genes.
That I called to ban transgenderism entirely. I made the point that if you want women to have their own bathrooms, if you think women ought to be able to have their own locker rooms and not have to look at gigantic, gross men while little girls are getting changed, if you
Where is that even happening? Like, where? It's that's never going to happen, and it's not happening. But it's interesting how it goes from, you know, we're not looking to like ban trans people or anything like that. We just because a few years in the past, they Republicans weren't about banning the existence of trans people, only keeping trans people and who they consider normal people separate. Now it's hey, we need to ban trans people from existing, which is a genocide. What are they gonna how are they gonna ban trans people from existing without killing these people or you know uh, so he's just going to be lying.
want any of those things, you have to ban transgenderism entirely. It's not enough to say, well, you have to wait until you're 12 or whatever people are saying now. It has to be the whole thing, because if men have the right to behave as women and identify as women for the purposes of public life, then women can't have their own spaces. And
That's not even true. How does he conflate trans people existing with women not having a space to exist in society? That, and it's not like this dude truly cares about like safe spaces for women. He's a Republican. Republicans don't care about women whatsoever. I mean, if they did, they would care about the fact that like uh, uh, a lot of cis men uh, commit domestic violence and rape of women. Anytime that happens, they want to ignore the woman and dismiss them as being promiscuous, or they shouldn't wear certain types of clothing.
And we as a society cannot have our own standards and norms, and we're not allowed to live according to reality. We have to live according to the delusions of these troubled people.
Yeah, that's funny. A Christian talking about living in reality. Uh, yeah, you don't live in any type of reality, but a manufactured one based on fairy tales.
And I think we, the people, have a right to reality. And I think women have a right to their own spaces. And so that means you got to ban the thing entirely. And oh my goodness, what these people say.
I mean, eventually it's gonna be like we gotta ban gay people. Why should men have to see, or be around other men that may, look at them, blah blah blah. We gotta ban it entirely. This is what the fascist right wing group wants to do. They want to try to ban everything they don't like from existing, um, and it's just going to get worse and worse if these people are continued to uh, do what they want.
They said that I was calling for the extermination of transgender people. They said I was calling for a genocide against. I said, what? I must have missed that part of my show. When did I say that? I don't know how you could have a genocide of transgender people, because Genocide refers to genes. It refers to genetics.
Uh, no, you can commit a genocide against a nation of people, and that doesn't have to be genetics. You can commit a genocide against a religious group of people, and that isn't genetics. Um, it can also be an ethnic group, and in some cases, political groups. Um, Genocide is the intentional and systematic removal, transfer, or killing of uh, large groups of people, as well as the deprivation of liberty by imposing uh, laws that would make these people's lives harder to live. So, yeah, uh, banning uh, trans people from existing would be a genocide.
It refers to biology. And the whole point of transgenderism is that it has nothing to do with biology. That's what the transgender activists say. They say, forget about biological sex. My gender expression doesn't have to have anything to do with my biological sex. Okay, well then there can't be a genocide. That refers to genetics. But
Again, he's going to try to say it's genetics, but that is a lie. He honestly doesn't even know what he's talking about for most of this, it seems like.
furthermore, nobody's calling to exterminate anybody. Because the other problem with that statement is that transgender people is not a real ontological category. It's not a legitimate category of being.
Yes, it is. Trans people exist, no matter how much you want to twist reality. Trans people exist. They've existed all throughout history, from pretty much the very beginning of human history and human existence. So, I mean, they are right wingers are getting their way with banning the existence of transgender people in Tennessee. Gender affirming care was banned, and then drag shows and wearing clothing of the opposite sex was banned. And they're also going to force people who have transitioned to detransition. And it's like, how much more fascistic can these states get? Because it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And give it 10 years, and the United States is going to be completely backwards.
There are people who think that they're the wrong sex, but they're mistaken. They're laboring under a delusion. And so we need to correct that delusion.
We need to correct that. One thing we actually do need to correct, and it's not transgender people, but it is right wingers, because they're laboring under the delusion that their fascist ideology will eventually win out. Um, we had a world war over this and a civil war, and people on the right, they never win. They're always on the wrong side of history, and there may be a momentary setback at this point in time, but in the future, transgender people will have complete and total rights that they deserve, and right wingers will be able to do nothing about it. Though after that, they'll just find some new thing to be mad at and try to ban the existence of somebody, some group, because that's what right wingers, that's all they want to do, is try to erase the existence of everybody they hate. Uh, if you like the content, like, share, and subscribe. Peace.